What's up, everybody? Glasshouse Films, midnight. I know it's not midnight, it's very bright outside. Review. Carson, Evelyn. Yeah, a day late, hopefully not a dollar short on this one. Detective Pikachu. Movie that I have almost no expectations for.
So, I've heard it's cute.
I try to ignore things if I'm going to review it. Like, not ignore things. I try to ignore other people's opinions on it until I have a chance to review it myself.
In the very least, we can look forward to Ryan Reynolds. And I know you've stated that, maybe some of the Green Lantern stuff. But...
No, you were completely misremembering the whole conversation we had about Ryan Reynolds. The only actual opinion I have regarding this film before we go into it is it bums me out just a little bit that it is Ryan Reynolds as Detective Pikachu and not Danny DeVito. Because I think really pissed off Danny DeVito would have been hilarious. And so did a lot of people. That is not only Carson thought of that and he's a genius. You can still say I'm a genius, but I'm not the only one that thought about it. Other than that, I don't have a huge stake in this. I am not a Pokemon dude. I was heavily involved in the Pokemans, kindergarten through like 3rd grade. And then I never got into the video games. Any of them. Never did Pokemon Go. So
the video games were the best part of Pokemon, hands down.
Okay. I was just never into it. I never played them. I was always playing something else. Golden Sun was my shit. If we're talking like turn-based
Children of Mana stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
all right, I'm feeling
Golden Sun was my bag.
Chrono Trigger.
I'm like, y'all can play your Pokemans. I'm gonna be playing some Chrono Trigger. But I don't have any ill will towards it. It just never really totally caught on with me. So I'm just looking to be entertained, and I hope it's just irreverent fun. All right, let's go see this thing.
Welcome to Rhyme City, a celebration of the harmony between humans and Pokemon.
All right, we're back from Detective Pikachu, Pokemon, Detective Pikachu, and you've been.
What the heck? That movie was genuinely infuriating. However, it has its moments. In particular, I would say the relationship between Ryan Reynolds and
as
the
Detective
lead.
Pikachu.
Yep.
And Tim.
And it delivers on the Pokemon nostalgia.
Okay.
Other than that, what the heck?
All right, so top level this one. Tim goes to a big Pokemon city. He's been pretty disenfranchised because of his dad. I'm so sick of dad stuff in movies. Come on, we got to find a different motivation. I get the only movie in the past like few years it's been like, okay, dad stuff, but it works. Is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Otherwise, don't do dad stuff. Anyway, he goes to Tim, played by Justice Smith. He goes to Pokemon City, where we're introduced to Bill Nye. And if that tells you anything, if you had the same thought that I did the moment you see Bill Nye, yep, you're not going to be surprised by anything that happens in this film. So, Justice Smith ends up running into Detective Pikachu, played by Ryan Reynolds, and he's like, hey, I'm Harry's partner, your dad's partner. Let's go figure this thing out. And it's basically Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but with Pokemon instead of cartoons. And if anything, this movie shows off what an incredible magic trick Who Framed Roger Rabbit was. Like, this movie did a lot of things right, but it was missing something that Who Framed Roger Rabbit has. And it's like, okay, this is what would have happened if Who Framed Roger Rabbit wasn't perfect in every way. And I gotta say, I think a number one issue, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Bob Hoskins as Eddie Valiant, holy crap, he is a great character. He's a total stick in the mud. And it's funny because he shares a lot of features with Tim. Both sticks in the mud, they both hate what makes their world fantastical. Cartoons, Pokemans, and they are called into action in a very similar way and have to work with what they hate. This movie owes everything to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, BT dubs. But the difference is Bob Hoskins, he swung for the fences. Like, his work, I've been tipped off to this by a bunch of people that are like, really examine his work. The stuff he had to do, especially at that time, I mean, there wasn't even a ball that you could be like, okay, this is Roger Rabbit, you need to interact with that. It's like, no, pretend Roger Rabbit's right there and you have to do all this stuff with him. It's like, the stuff he had to do was amazing. And the acting that he pulled off grounded that movie entirely. I just want to go home and watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit now. But anyway, Justice Smith is probably a very fine actor.
Oh,
but
really?
he's too dour, and I think he can't elevate the script. That's fine, you know, that's the script's issue, but he doesn't help things. I think if you give him a better script, he could probably have done a better job, but it's kind of both. It's on them both. Because so throughout this movie, you have flashbacks of Tim being like, oh, this is the reason why I hate Pokemans. This is the reason why I'm so pissed with life and everything, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, we get it. Let's keep this moving. Whereas Who Framed Roger Rabbit was like one shot and you figured out exactly, or not one shot, but like one very succinct sequence of like, oh, Eddie Valiant helped cartoons and then a cartoon killed his brother. Yeah, he hates cartoons for a really good reason. This one is like, okay, so what?
So I feel like part of that is that Who Framed Roger Rabbit was made for adults. It was not made for children.
I don't know,
this movie is made
I
for
grew
children,
up with that kid. Well, I grew up with that and I loved it.
I feel like it's doing, like they're trying to throw children about. Just like, okay, here you go.
I would disagree with that statement because there's a lot of jokes only grown-ups would get. This is okay. Big issue with this movie. This movie is weird.
It's super weird.
This is one of the weirdest. I remember thinking, I'm like, okay, what movies have you seen this year? Okay, Serenity is an outlier. We're not bringing Serenity into this conversation. This movie is weird. And I'm not just talking about the fact that I'm like, I don't know what Pokemans these are. Wait a minute, do they raise these bull Pokemans to be slaughtered and then eaten? Wait, are we all eating Pokemans in this world? I just want to make sure I know the baseline for this. What is a Pokemon? I had all those thoughts and I'm like, wait a minute. The movie doesn't invite them. That's just me. I can put that to the side. The thing is, and it happened early on. It happened before like the like 40-minute mark. I was like, oh, Ryan Reynolds as Detective Pikachu is just doing Wade Wilson, Deadpool, but for a PG crowd.
Oh, absolutely.
And that doesn't really work. I mean, yeah, there is a lot of inherent fun and joy to be had from him. Ryan Reynolds has a voice that you just want to listen to. He's got so much charisma. It's a God-given gift for this guy. Like, he can do almost absolutely no wrong. But I think he's actually miscast for Detective Pikachu.
I agree. Danny DeVito would have been better.
Okay, yeah. and it's not just because, okay, that's funnier because it's grumpy, you know, kid, what are you gonna do? The troll told to get the boys all, like, okay. That alone is funny, but the thing is Ryan Reynolds is great at parts that are written just for Ryan Reynolds. I think Danny DeVito is better at playing characters. And I think Danny DeVito would have really leaned into a character for Detective Pokemon or Detective Pikachu. I think it would have worked a little bit better, or you could have actually flip-flopped it. You could have made Tim, this wacky kid that's like, what is going on? All right, let's go do this thing, Pokemon. And then Ken Watanabe, who is in this film, could have been Detective Pikachu, and that would have also been really cool, because it's like, the kid's going off and everything, and then it's this cartoon who's like, this kid's weird, man. Like, that would have been something.
Yeah.
But it doesn't totally work. It's almost like he's in a very different movie. And to be fair,
and
he is in a sound booth the whole time, so he is kind of in a different movie.
So I feel like the biggest issue with this movie are the huge tonal inconsistencies.
Yes.
So this movie is a movie that was made for children, but there are jokes for adults in this.
Oh, a lot.
A great example of that is the scene with Mr. Mime.
What? I was sitting there, I'm like, what the hell? This is weird, man. Okay. Also, unfortunate, but the Mr. Mime sequence is the most funny, and I think it capitalizes the most on the oddity of Pokemon interacting with people in this world. So, there's a sequence, I won't really go into it, but there's a sequence, later in the film where they're affecting the environment, but there's not human Pokemon interactions. So, it's like, okay, it's a set piece versus a human, not a Pokemon and a human. Whereas that scene does a really good job of going, okay, this is how a human and a Pokemon would interact in this particular way. And it was the smartest scene. But it is also the most tonally weird scene of that film. What the hell? I'm not going to say what it is, but it's weird. Like,
I think some of the biggest issues with this film, like we've addressed the tonal inconsistencies.
Yeah.
I feel like they're trying to get both children and adults that grew up with Pokemon, because this definitely delivers on the Pokemon nostalgia. This feels like if you play all the games, this delivers a world that feels like it's filled with Pokemon, and it's a living, breathing world, and they convince you and sell you on that.
Yes, I will agree. Great job with the world. I think it is very dense, it's very rich, and if you like just seeing different creatures milling about, totally. Anyway, please continue.
So they sell you on this world. And the biggest issues are that there are some characters in this that I feel like just were miscast, like we've addressed.
Yeah.
Just not great actors. In general, I think that there are some roles in here I'm not sold on at all.
Well, I would disagree with that. I just don't think they have a lot to do. All the characters in this are very one-dimensional. And that's the thing, is you compare that to Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Eddie Valiant is a complex character, and when he finally kind of breaks, or he doesn't have a break moment, but he has little moments where he kind of breaks, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, is this actually Eddie Valiant? Like, he's not putting on an act, he's not drunk, he is Eddie Valiant. And it's really interesting to see those facets of his character. Justice Smith the whole time is just, let's go find my dad, I guess. Screw Pokemon. Meh. I'm just like, that doesn't make for a great character. But all of the supporting characters, same exact thing. Again, going back to Bill Nighy, it's like, oh, you tried to do something with... I was going to refer to him as evil Milo Yiannopoulos, but Milo Yiannopoulos is already evil, so like... Then I thought cartoonishly...
Regular Milo Yiannopoulos.
Well, I was going to go like cartoonishly evil Milo Yiannopoulos, and then I remember Milo Yiannopoulos is a cartoon of an evil villain. So it's just a dude that looks a lot like Milo Yiannopoulos, and it's weird. It freaked me out the whole movie. But it's like, okay, you could have done something there, and you played with it, but then you didn't really go there. It's like, we're going to subvert the subversion. Well, then that's just playing it straight, guys. So, I mean, the mystery itself is just like, okay, all right.
Yeah, if you're paying attention, you'll see this coming from a mile away.
And the thing is even so, again, if we're saying this is for kids, I think the kids will just be like, I think the kids these days will just be like, all right, yeah, I know who that one is. I honestly kind of think this will make some kids who like to play the Pokemon games in like school and stuff be like, ooh, I'm almost a little ashamed to play it. Like,
I'm not gonna go there.
Like some of that stuff is so basic that I'm like, man, really? But it also fits into my argument of the higher the budget of the movie, the simpler it has to be.
Agreed.
But it's almost too simple. No, Avatar fits. Avatar was like one of the most expensive movies to make. So it fits the graph perfectly.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway.
That's another discussion.
Anyway, so the integrations for the most part are really good. I did love seeing, okay, here's what this thing would look like in real life. And that was actually really cool to see. Like, honestly, throughout a lot of the movie, I'm like, I kind of want to just like when you see a cute cat and you're just like, I want to pet that cat. Throughout almost the whole movie, I'm like, I want to pet that Pikachu, man.
Oh,
that thing looks soft. I want to touch its fur.
The VFX.
But I would ask for its permission first.
The VFX in this film are amazing.
It is funny, some of the corners that I see that they cut, because for the first half of the movie, everything is kind of shot from behind. You see mostly silhouettes of these characters, and they're like, oh, you're saving this all for the big stuff later. It's not so much corner cutting's the wrong word. Thrifty is the right word.
Yeah.
Very
agreed.
Thrifty use of the budget. And that's okay. It's just something that I'm like, that's funny. But then that lighting is not consistent throughout the whole movie. And if it had been, that would have been a little bit cooler.
Well, I feel like there's definitely a rocky and turbulent start to this movie.
Honestly, the start of this movie worked the best because it felt the most. It felt like it had the. It got better as it went along, but the look and feel of the movie, the way that it started, I think was its strongest part. Because it's like, oh, here's not exactly the grimy, mean streets of this city, but there was a lot of texture to it. And then when it went daylight, it almost felt washed out. So the noir stuff, I was like, okay, this is actually kind of working for me. And then they stepped away from it and it's like, oh, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
And almost like they were like, okay, we got this part under budget so we could do these things later with the budget. And that bummed me out.
This film didn't take off for me until Pikachu and Tim met.
Oh, no, absolutely. Before then, it was a rocky start. But I'm saying the look of the film just dropped off about halfway through. And that was a bummer because I liked the way it looked beforehand.
And
I would have also, and kind of going back to another thing, I would have really liked to have seen a lot more creative uses of the Pokemans. The mime thing was, as I said, it's the best scene in the movie because it capitalizes on it so well. And then everything else is kind of like, whatever. And then you had a little spark of it with the underground battle, and you saw like a Gengar versus a Blastoise. I'm like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. Hold on, movie? Can we see more of this? Because that's actually kind of, because it's two people strategizing, I don't really know what the Pokemon trainers do. So it's two Pokemans strategizing, trying to fight one another. And it was actually kind of cool.
I think you've got a point there. I want to see an adult version of it, like pure adult.
I don't want to see like Dittos on the street corner being like, well, Dittos don't really talk.
Yeah. So
a Ditto turns into a person. They're like, Ditto,
Well, so the grimy elements of this do have a very specific appeal.
Yeah, I don't think this would have fit very well as like a really dark noir. Also, speaking of noir, a weird reference near the beginning of this film. I'm like, wait a minute. This is all kinds of like, what is this? It really threw me off with the internal logic of the film. And then they didn't do anything like that later. I'm like, what the hell was that? Why? This takes too many layers to try and figure out. Why was that?
It seems like purely to me an Easter egg.
A weird Easter egg. Says nothing to do with Pokemon. Anyway.
Very loosely detective related.
God. Oh man, it's a stretch so hard it might make me Psyduck blow up this whole parking lot.
Those psionic waves.
Now, okay, with all of that being said, if you like the Pokemans, you'll probably enjoy this film. If you want to see, honest to God, there's so many adorable things in here. At least there's Bulbasaurs, and I'm like, I want to take one of them motherfuckers home with me. I want to pet it. I want to raise it. Give me a Bulbasaur, please. And then like the Flareons and the Pikachus. Hell, I'll even take a Psyduck. I'll just rub his cute little duck feet all the time and be like, don't blow up, buddy. Any of them, just give them to me. I mean, it really was like, can I just reach through the screen and pet this guy just a little bit? And that was really impressive. And I think if you go into this expecting just kind of unfortunately kind of a dumber Who Framed Roger Rabbit, just kind of a dumb blockbuster. It happens to have a lot of Pokemon in it. I mean, you're not going to be disappointed. Just don't expect a lot out of it. If it looks like your bag and you really want to go support the Pokemon brand, yeah, go ahead and see it in cinemas. But other than that, I think you'll get just as much out of it just renting it. At the end of the day, I got to go with my heart and I got to say, just rent this thing. It'll be fine. Just rent it. How do you feel? How do you line up?
I feel like that's absolutely correct. If you're really into Pokemon, go see this.
Yeah. I once again, not into the Pokemans, but this thing is probably dense with references. There were a few I picked up, like the Pokemon theme song being played here and there. But then you see
Ryan Reynolds' performance of it later on.
Yeah. Then you see these restaurants with very specific names. I bet those probably come from somewhere in there. They mention going off to different islands, different cities, here, there, and everywhere. And I'm like, you know what? There's probably a ton of Easter eggs for the fans in this.
I don't know if I would say Easter eggs so much as just direct references to the older games.
Well, no. Easter eggs for the fans. Because they're going through and finding them. For people like me, I'm like, I recognize Machamp. I mean, Machamp is just like, I'm extra Machamp. I've got more arms to punch you. Honest to God, Machamp is one of the most hilarious Pokemon to me because everyone else is like, I shoot water. I'm a fire dude. I'm an earth dude. I'm a punch guy. Wait, what? You're just a punch guy? What? So anyway, yeah, with all that being said...
Obviously you haven't heard Hitmonlee.
Huh?
Obviously you haven't seen Hitmonlee.
I guess not.
Named after Bruce Lee.
Oh, that guy. No, I recognize. I think he's in Pokemon Ultimate. I think I had to fight him once. Anyway,
I thought you didn't play any games.
Huh?
I thought you didn't play any games.
Did I say Pokemon Ultimate?
Yeah.
Sorry, I meant Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I think you gotta fight that guy at some point. Any hoozle. Yeah, that's how we felt about it, and thank you for watching this review, and a special treat if you watched it to the very end. If you go to Mini Pearl Vintage on Facebook, Mini Pearl is currently running a little giveaway or a little discount. If you find the Pokemon related post and you share it comment your favorite Pokemon and tag Mini Pearl Vintage, you'll get a 10% discount code on any Pokemon related item in Mini Pearl store. This ain't an ad, they're just my friends. And then next week is John Wick 3. Ooh, man. I just gotta chill, and
You gotta get the lube ready.
I just gotta
get loose. Gotta get loose.
I just gotta chill because almost more than anything else, I am really excited for Jason Mantzoukas as the TikTok man, because it's just like, oh, give me crazy screaming Jason Mantzoukas, just like firing guns and just being crazy. I'm like, yes, I would like that manic energy in this movie, please.
The only thing I've seen for the John Wick stuff so far is the poster, and it looks Lovecraftian as hell.
None of the movies are Lovecraftian.
I'm just saying the poster looks
Okay.
sick.
Okay.
We don't know what's in this one yet.
I have a pretty good idea of what's going to be in it. I am just really excited for that for so many reasons, and I'll probably recap my love for the John Wick movies when that review rolls around, but please stay tuned for that. Until then, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, go check out Mini Pearl Vintage on Facebook, and or on Instagram as well. And please subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/glassfilmshouse, and where I'm most active, Twitter, at Glasshouse Films. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Bye.